When we are just going to get started. So I just wanted to kind of brief this meeting and let folks know we're, hi Sean, I think everybody knows each other, so we don't have to do the introductions, but we are going to just talk about just the $1 million of free cash, and we're going to talk about some other numbers that TJ has from the government, but we're not going to talk about the tax rate today. We're going to save that information till Monday because I spoke to Richie today and he's still trying to, they had to do a new calculation since we only have to raise 227 million as opposed to 228 million. So to get those, what are they called, TJ? Those
the rate, yeah, the rate,
yeah, the rate sheets together.
Yeah.
They have to recalculate that, so we'll just wait till we have those rate sheets and we'll talk about that on Monday's meeting. All right, so TJ, I'm going to turn the floor over to you and Lindsay and Tim, Pat.
Yeah, I'll let Tim take over and take control, and I'll chime in where necessary, and we'll just, I mean, it's pretty basic, the need, but go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, so the the first order we have to pass in order to move ahead with the tax rate is going to be a supplemental budget, and this is going to be decreasing the school's budget by 15.8 million. What that is that's a result of their Chapter 70 aid being cut in the new budget. It had been, they balanced using the original governor's numbers, which was based on the Student Opportunity Act being passed, and had a pretty substantial increase year to year, and due to the pandemic, the revenue wasn't there for the state to fully fund that. So the governor released a revised budget. Obviously, we still don't have a state budget yet. We're waiting for that to show up any day now. But the governor's recommended budget was the most conservative one, and we got guidance from DOR that we can proceed with setting a rate using that. And then if aid comes in above that, we'll be in a good place. So it's 13.2 million in Chapter 70 aid that's been reduced, and another 2.6 million in charter tuition reimbursement. So that's where the 15.8 million is going. And then we had coordinated this with Mike Eaton, the school department's budget director, for where they wanted the funding reduced. So we're going to take it out of a single account, and then the school committee, in consultation with their team, is going to allocate. And they've been planning for this too, in terms of, expecting to be a change in state aid.
So they already were cutting some expenses and things like that, anticipating that this reduction may happen?
Yeah, so basically what ended up happening was I was in conversations with the superintendent and Pat Roach and trying to see what they were doing. They chose to go with the governor's budget in January and just stick with it because they didn't know what was going to happen. They were hopeful that they were going to get the Student Opportunity Act funding. They didn't get it, but they did a spending freeze, hiring freeze, all that, and they started to make the necessary adjustments in their budget in case they needed to do this. So
that's great. Just want to welcome Adam Gomez, City Councilor Adam Gomez, who is also part of the Finance Committee, and Tim Allen is also part of the Finance Committee. So I just want to welcome them and also thank Councilor Letterman and Councilor Curran for joining as well. Okay, so before we move forward, does any of the councilors have questions regarding the information just provided? I see Councilor Letterman.
I just signed in, so I don't know exactly what was the information I was provided. I apologize.
We were just really quick, Councilor Letterman. We were just talking about the school budget being decreased by 15 million, and they have planned expenses. I think it was a Chapter 70 fund, Tim?
Yeah, Chapter 70 and the charter tuition reimbursement.
But they had planned for this. They went with the original budget planning for the decrease because they didn't know how much it was going to be. So they did cut expenses the whole time planning for this decrease. So it's not going to affect any of the budget.
Yeah, Tracy?
Yes?
Hi, this is Tim. I'm driving, so I'm just listening, not watching. But yeah, I had a good conversation with TJ about it and with Pat Burns. And it seems like all the changes with the lower budget is all on the school department side. I think we
Yeah.
just need to approve it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Tim. I just didn't want to cut off Counselor Letterman because he had his hand raised.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah. Counselor?
Thanks, Madam Chair, and no problem at all. I just wanted to know, so essentially, just to clarify, the Student Opportunity Act was not funded in the way that we were hoping it would be. Is that essentially the issue?
That's correct. What they ended up funding was level funding plus cost of living for Chapter 70 only, not the Student Opportunity Act funding that we were hoping to get.
Okay. So basically, even though they passed it last year, they just chose not to fund it, or
Correct.
were unable to fund it. Is there any chance that will change in the future?
I think that's the hope, Counselor, is that it would change and that they'll end up having the funding available next year. They haven't closed the door on it. They're just the fiscal reality set in that they couldn't do it. So.
Okay, so basically, we were already planning for it. We're being conservative. There's a chance next year we could
Correct.
see more funding come back, and then we could just increase wherever we need to.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And Counselor Gomez, just to let you know in the beginning, we discussed that we're not going to talk about the tax rate because with the $1 million decrease, we have to get the new rate sheet. And we don't know where we're going to fall on that. So Richie said they're working on getting that to us right away, and we'll discuss that at the Monday finance meeting.
All right, perfect. No problem.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council on this information?
I'm all set. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And Tim, you can proceed, or TJ.
No, I guess it for that. I mean, what else was on the agenda? I thought it was just a supplemental budget, but is there another agenda item, Madam Chair?
No, that was it. I just didn't know if you wanted to give more information.
I can do a tap dance for you if you want.
I would love to see that
No, you would.
on
No, you would.
camera.
No, I mean, there isn't much more to add because the school department's going to reallocate the budget after the city council votes on Monday to reduce the overall budget. We used to want to get ahead of the school committee.
Okay.
So once you guys reduce it as a city council, they'll be able to move next steps for their own budget.
And then on Monday, I know, because it's going to be a quick meeting on Monday, so I know we're going to talk about the $1 million that the administration wants to take
Yep.
from free cash and put toward reducing the property
Yep,
tax
correct.
revenue. Okay,
we
so you'll have
certified
all that.
I'll have all that on Monday. Just quickly, we certified $7.3 million in free cash yesterday. So it's available for appropriation by the city council.
Any questions on that?
No, I heard that as well. I don't have any question on it. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Letterman?
Just what fiscal year is this free cash certification from?
FY20.
Okay.
FY20. Councilor Gomez?
So this free cash is going to go to homeowners only. Property owners that own property. Not it's not going to the whole city, or is it just going to residents or the commercial?
The way the rate sheet works is once we determine a number, there's a rate that corresponds for the residential factor, and then for this commercial industrial. So once you choose a rate, it's going to bring down for both.
So it's going to bring it down for both. And it's just a question. Sorry for the yelling.
Okay.
So is it wrong for us to, let's say, want to do it versus residents only versus commercial?
So I'll let Richie explain it on Monday, but really what the issue comes down to is the fact that the city council only has limited rates from the rate sheet that you can choose from. So if you choose, depending what factor you choose, it has a residential rate and a corresponding commercial rate, and you can't split the two up.
So in essence, we can lower the rate for the residential side, which would increase the percentage that the businesses would pay. And so that's the way that we can give the relief to the residential tax.
Correct.
But we just gotta wait for the new rate sheet because the rate sheet that he gave us was taken into account that we needed to raise 228 million in revenue, but now we need to raise 227 million in revenue. Councilor Letterman?
Madam Chair, just on that, are we going to have how many more finance committee meetings do we have before we actually vote on the tax rate?
Just Monday.
Just Monday.
We have a special meeting, and then we have a finance meeting, and then we have I think the special meeting is where we vote, but I think there's two meetings prior to that.
The
'cause we have
public
a
meeting, there's a
Yeah,
finance
public
committee
meeting, finance,
and then a special
and-
meeting.
special meeting. But I think there's a meeting before the special meeting so we could talk about the rates, or is that in the finance meeting?
I think the finance meeting, you come up with a recommendation, but there's time for us to talk about it all.
Yeah, we have time to talk about it. Then there's another finance meeting because we have to approve what we just spoke about here with the school committee budget. And there's a special meeting also. So from like 4 to all night, we're on.
Oh, that's my kind of meeting. No, that's fine. I just had a couple more logistical questions about moving the free cash to lower the levy, but I won't. I know that's not really on the agenda tonight. So TJ, I'll just give you a call tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
No questions from me.
TJ, we don't have to approve the free cash. I'm sorry, this isn't on it before we move the money, do we? Or we do?
No, that's gonna come up just as a vote, I believe, on the normal agenda. Is that correct, Tim? Just
So-
to put money, when we file the tax recap, that we have that in the box.
So can I just tell you how the tax rate meeting is going to go on Monday at 5:30? That's the special meeting. So there's
Yes.
going to be 3 items on the agenda. The agenda's not out yet. The first one is going to be the supplemental budget, which is what we just talked about here. We wanted you guys to understand the movement of the budget, to see if you had any questions, because, we have a limited time to do all 3 orders. The second one is appropriating FY20 free cash to reduce the tax levy. So that's the second order. And then the third order will be setting the tax factor for FY21.
Gotcha.
So those are the 3 orders. That's the order it has to go in order to set the tax rate.
Okay. Did that help, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Okay. And I think that all of except for that meeting, all the other meeting agendas have been sent already. So there's a list of them. All right, I think we're good. Any other questions?
No, thanks everyone for the quick meeting.
You're welcome. I appreciate it.
All set.
All right.
Call me if you guys need me.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Good night.
Take care.